I'm here with Rob Lynch. Hello, Rob.
Hello.
You're here at the Cambridge Portland Arms. It is part of a mini tour you're doing.
Yeah, it's a 3-day midweek mini tour, if we can call it a tour.
I think you can call it a tour.
I think it's a stint rather than a tour.
So where are you playing?
Tonight, so at Cambridge, obviously, and then tomorrow in Norwich, and then Thursday in Liverpool.
And there is a reason behind this mini stint, as you call it?
It was supposed to be a 3-week-long headline tour, spanning the width and breadth of the UK, but I got offered another tour, and I was advised that it would be a good idea to do that tour as support and just do a few headline shows, and postpone the longer jaunt. Yeah.
So this, the initial idea was to promote your album that's coming out.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the album itself.
It's been a long time coming to start with. It's 12 songs of honest acoustic pop music. Does that sound like a soundbite that I've used before? It's an uplifting album with themes of finding the light in darkness.
I like it. How's it.
Is that really cheesy?
No, that's perfectly. I love it. So you say it's been a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that it took you about a year. Is that just recording, or is that the whole process of writing and recording?
I started the actual recording process, I guess, at the back end of 2012, out in Philadelphia. With a guy called Shane Henderson, who was in a band called Valencia. Do you remember Valencia?
Yeah.
They're amazing. So if you haven't checked out Valencia, go and check out their second album, We All Need a Reason to Believe, because it's a masterpiece. And so I did a couple of weeks out there, but obviously when you have a plan to record an album in 2 weeks, it's just never going to work out the way that you plan it is. So that was kind of like pre-production, and got some tracks laid down, and then I went into the studio last summer for 2 months with Sam Duckworth, who's better known as Get Cake, Wet Cake, Fly. So then we thrashed it out in the summer, got it mastered, it was all ready, and then the last year's just been spent sorting out label stuff and all the other things that go on behind the scenes that you don't think about when you think you're going to have an album ready to go. So that's why it's taken a year since it's been finished. But you don't want to rush these things, do you? No,
definitely not. So in this year, have you rethought maybe the order of the songs in the album, or have you been happy with the album for the last year?
I'm super happy with it. Yeah, I couldn't be happy with the album as a whole. I feel it's exactly what it needed to be, and I'm glad that we've given it some time to breathe before it comes out. I'm now ready for the world to hopefully enjoy it.
2 songs that sort of stick out of yours is Whiskey. Is the first one. Tell us a little bit about Whiskey.
So Whiskey is the only one that has survived from when I used to be called Lost on Campus, which is the name I used to go by some years ago. And that's the only song that survived from those days, and it's a song about a night that me and my dad had together, drinking too much whiskey and playing each other our favourite songs. And it's poignant because this is when my father had his health. He died when I was 21, so he died maybe a year after this happened. But I heard him in the hospital the first time I went there, telling the story about that night that we had together, like to the other people in his wards, before I'd even reached, so he didn't know I was there, and I could overhear him like telling that story. So I knew that it was as magical for him as it was for me. So I tried to encapsulate it in a song without sounding too depressing, because it was an enjoyable evening. I want to remember it for that.
Yeah, it was a happy evening. It's now solid.
Yeah,
it's now
there. It's a good memory. Yeah, it's good to celebrate that.
Do you feel quite emotional when you play that song, or even if you hear it possibly on the radio? Is there a part of you that kind of...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, whenever I play it, it kind of takes me back. But I guess that's what you want from music. As soon as music stops being emotive when you play it, then there's no point in really doing it, is there? Unless you want to be a carbon coffee boy band.
No, that is very true.
Yeah.
And so when you hear people singing that song or tweeting you or Facebooking you saying how much they love it, how much, you know, they get the emotion from it. How does that make you feel?
It's great. Like, it's
speechless.
Yeah, kind of, because it's one of those things that I wrote purely for my own selfish need to want to exercise that kind of sadness, and the fact that other people can relate to it and get something from it, like, blows my mind. Like, I get messages from people saying like how that song has helped them with stuff that's happened in their lives. I'm like, cool, I'm just this idiot who's written this song for my own needs, and if you're getting something out of that, then that's like a really special, incredible thing.
And you've got another song for which has actually got a music video attached to it, which is My Friends and I. Now that has got sort of two parts to it. Care to explain?
Yeah, on the surface, that song sounds like a joyous pop song, and the choruses are. But I wanted to write like a song that sounded like a joyous pop song, but actually have some kind of deeper meaning to it. So like the first verse covers, like, subtly covers like the breakup of a friend's long-term relationship, of a friend who killed himself, and then another friend's band who broke up. Like all the things that you think that are going to make people happy, and they obviously weren't making them happy anymore. So threw that in, and then the rest of the song's about touring and the friends that I've made out through touring. So rather than it just be like a cheesy, yeah, we have a good time touring, I wanted to throw in a little bit of kind of meaning to it.
So going back to the album itself, the title of the album, care to explain that one?
Yeah, it's a line from one of the songs in the album. So it's from a song called Some Nights. The line is, all these nights in bars will somehow save my soul. And it's a double entendre of going out and having a big night and drinking too much is great, because those are the things that you cherish and you have those moments with your friends. But on the flip side, it's kind of a sarcastic, maybe that's not always the best thing to do. So
that's good enough reason. I mean, why is it that lyric in particular, out of all the 12 tracks in the album, why is that one the one that stuck out to you the most, to say, yes, I'm going to title my album, that's what I'm going to advertise, that's what's going to carry the rest of the album?
Mainly because I like that line, and it's however you want to interpret that, and mainly you interpret that in a positive way, because you think of happy times and drinking, and even drinking a Coca-Cola if you don't want to drink a beer. But also I thought that's an album title that people will look twice at, rather than it just being called like
Rob Lynch.
Whiskey, or Rob Lynch. Like, you know, I thought that one will make people actually go, oh, right, okay. Or, what pretentious idiot. Yeah. I just like it. Had a ring to it, really. I played around with a few ideas, and that's the one that stuck.
So you said that you used to be, go under another name. Why have you decided that this was going to be, you're just going to be you, rather than some combination of words?
So I used to be called Lost on Campus, and that was my first venture into music. I only started playing guitar when I was 18, so I was a bit of a latecomer, so I missed out on all that time where you'd have your first band at school. So Lost on Campus was kind of like my first band, let's say, even though it was a solo project. I put out a couple of EPs and toured a bunch, and then I'd written and recorded the Rob Lynch EP, or what was to become the Rob Lynch EP, and I spoke to some friends and who kind of, I trust their opinion. They're like, why don't you just change your name to your real name? They're like, because people get confused as to whether you're a band or whatever. And I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. These songs are a lot better than the ones on the previous EPs, and I thought it's ready for like a rebrand, let's say. And then things have gone great since then, so it was probably the best decision I ever made, really.
So people know.
Me make.
Yeah, so people know it's you and it's your stuff.
And I think it's more relatable if it's to a person, then you can put those songs upon that person. For me, it works. Yeah.
Well, as long as it works for the artist, a lot of people do make music just because it's a passion of theirs. There are bands who don't tour, they don't put out any sort of physical or anything on iTunes or Spotify or anything like that, just purely because of music.
Yeah.
But what is it about touring? I mean, you're doing 6 weeks in a row at least now, touring,
much,
and you know, and you're supporting people, and you've supported lots of people in the past, and you're doing, you know, your mini tour. What is it about the tour life and being on the road? Because you were in America doing the US Warped Tour Acoustic Basement, and that was a very long time to be on the road, especially away from England. So what is that appeal for an artist, especially solo artists, to go out on the road on their own?
I don't know, I think it's the buzz. You know, I think it's connecting with people through song, which again sounds a bit cliched and cheesy, but I think especially because they're personal songs, there's so much rubbish music out there that bands are peddling that don't actually mean anything, and to actually have a real connection with human beings over human being issues is like, I don't know, it's really amazing. And then it's not just that, but then it's meeting people afterwards, and it's making new friends and hanging out in different places and always being on the go. It's just something exciting about it. I mean, it can get tiresome. Like the Warped wasn't the easiest tour, but it was rewarding. I know, but I think if you're a musician, then you should kind of be playing music as much as you can, and the only way to do that is by touring. You can't just play 200 shows in one city a year, can you? So it's, I think it's that want to keep on building upon something too. So the more you get out there, the more people are going to hear about it, and the more hopefully people will come back. But beyond that, we could get existential about it, and I'd say I don't really know why. But that's for a whole different evening.
So with touring and your album coming out, what else have you got planned? I mean, who are you playing with, you know, in the rest of 2014?
So I've got these shows. I've got my album release show in London on the 22nd, which is about 2 weeks away. And then that week I go on tour with an American band called This Wildlife, which is 2 weeks long. And they did Warped Tour as well, so I met them out there. Then I've got 2 weeks off, and then I've got, I think, almost 3 weeks in mainland Europe, so doing France, Holland, and then Germany for 2 weeks, and that's as a full band rather than solo. So and then that takes us up to mid-November. Oh, and then I come back for 3 days, and I fly back to Germany for 2 solo shows supporting Rocky Votolato, which will be very exciting. And then that brings us to the middle of November, and I don't know what's planned for December yet, but I'm sure someone will tell me soon.
Something will happen. Something will happen.
Yeah.
So you've got so much in store for you. Is there a certain point you want to be in a year's time from now? So you're coming up to releasing your album, your little baby, your little project. In a year's time, where do you want to be as a musician?
Still alive, I think. If I'm still alive, that's goal number 1 sorted. Do you know what? Just keeping on moving forwards. I want it to keep building. It'd be easy to be like, I want to be headlining like Wembley Arena and whatnot, but I set realistic goals. So I want things to be progressing. I want the album to be well received. I want to play a bunch of festivals next summer, and this time next year, hopefully the album would have gone down well. Maybe another headline tour, and then disappear for a couple of months and record the second album.
So there is a second album in, you know, that's you're not going to stop there.
No.
So next summer, which festival would you most want to headline, or at least be
headline?
Headline. If you got the headline slot, main stage, prime time slot, which festival would you play?
There's 2 that I want to play next year, and I'm not even bothered about headlining them. I just want to play them. So I want to play Reading and I want to play Glastonbury.
Okay.
Those are the 2 that I kind of got in my head that I'd like to do.
So a lot of ambition, a lot of drive, and I can see that you won't be dropping off the radar anytime soon.
I hope not. Not unless this tour goes really badly.
What, this mini stint, or are we
Well,
talking
no,
about just
let's
everything?
say until the end of the year, everyone hates the album and no one comes to the shows, then I might be told just to stop. But they won't hold me down.
I don't think that's going to be the case. So thank you very much,
Thank you.
and good luck tonight.
Thank you.